If your outreach isn't getting replies, it's not because cold email is dead, although it is always changing. It's not because your leads are bad, and it's not because the market is saturated. It's usually because you're sending the wrong signal into the market. And until you fix that, you will keep doing more outreach, even for worse results. Quick context so you know where this is coming from. I've helped hundreds of recruiting agencies make a lot of money through our company, 7-Figure Staffing, and I'm the author of the Ultimate Recruiting Agency Playbook, where we break down the actual systems behind getting clients, building demand, and scaling agencies. So what I'm about to show you is not theory. It's what's actually working in the market right now. So let's talk about the illusion everyone believes. Most recruiters believe outreach works like this. If I say the right thing to the right person, I'll get a reply and eventually I'll get money. So they focus on copywriting, subject lines, personalization, tools, and they assume the breakthrough is in the cleverness of the messaging. That's the wrong model. Outreach does not work like that. Here's how outreach actually works. You send a message, the market instantly decides. Irrelevant, ignore. Somewhat relevant, maybe later. Highly relevant, respond. That decision has nothing to do with effort. It has everything to do with timing, pain, and signal. So here's what most people are actually doing. Let's just call it out clearly. Most outreach looks like this. Hey, we're a recruiting firm. We help companies hire faster. Our candidates are better. All those other guys don't get it right, but we do. Give us money or sign our contract and we'll prove it. That's sort of the subtext beneath all of the messaging that recruiters typically send. But here's the problem. That message requires the reader to put their faith and trust in a random stranger from the internet. And they're only going to respond if they are A, in the greatest desperation of all time, in which case they probably already responded to someone else, or B, they're planning to try to take advantage of you in some way via pricing negotiations or just trying to steal your candidates and your sweat equity. It can be a brutal reality out there if you're not careful. So remember, your prospect and outreach recipient didn't wake up thinking about you. They don't care that you made a recruiting agency. They don't care about your promises. And they don't believe that you can solve their problem because usually other people have already tried and failed. They woke up thinking about deadlines, staffing gaps, internal pressure, operational problems, the extra work they have to do to cover for talent shortage, the headaches caused by turnover, the failures they've experienced with finding the right people to cover their critical functions. So when your message shows up and it has nothing to do with that, it just causes acute frustration. Best case, it gets ignored. Worst case, they take out their frustration on you and send a nasty message back, or they mark you as spam. So here's what's actually happening, the part that no one sees. This is the part that nobody thinks about. There is a filter, right? Every hiring manager has one. They don't sit there and consciously analyze your email like it's a Harvard case study. They're not like, interesting, let me evaluate the merits of this outreach. No, it's more like open, glance, delete, next. You've got maybe a second, 2 seconds, that's it. And in that tiny window, your message gets bucketed instantly. Irrelevant, gone, kind of relevant, ignored for later, which actually means ignored forever, or actually relevant response. That's the whole game. There's no, maybe I'll think about it later. There's no, I'll come back to this tonight. You either hit or you disappear. And this is why people get so confused, because they think, well, I sent 100 emails. Why didn't anything happen? Because 100 times, assuming you didn't go to spam, which is a whole other ball of yarn, you got filtered out. That's it. So why does good outreach still get destroyed? This is where it gets frustrating because a lot of you are doing what you've been told. You're writing clean emails, you're writing thoughtful emails, you're writing polite emails. They're emails that the internet gurus told you work for them. You're personalizing, you're researching, you're doing all the right things according to the cold email bros, and still you're getting nothing. So here's why. The market does not reward effort or politeness or professionalism or best practices or conviction or cleverness or even persistence. It rewards relevance and timing. That's it. So you can write the most beautiful email ever written, and it will lose to a 2-line message that actually matters every time. So you end up in this weird place where you're like, I don't get it. My email is better. And yeah, well, it's better to you, but it's not better to them because it doesn't matter to them. To them, you just brought another sausage to the sausage party that already had way too many sausages. So let's actually walk through this real scenario. Let's say I'm a hiring manager and I open 2 emails. Email number 1 says something along the lines of, hey, we're a recruiting firm specializing in manufacturing and would love to support your hiring needs. What happens in my head here? Well, pretty much nothing. In fact, I probably spotted that this was a worthless email from the subject line, and I didn't even open it or even get this far. So literally nothing happens. I might chuckle or chortle at the sheer hopelessness of the attempt. And I'm thinking, oh, perfect. Another recruiter who wants $20K to forward me a PDF. Delete. Now, email number 2. CNC machinist, Mazak plus Fanuc, 8 years, second shift. I know that doesn't sound like much, does it? It probably sounds super boring to you. I just bored you to tears with that. And that's because it's not for you. For the person that it's for, it causes an immediate tingle, an immediate curiosity. They're thinking, well, we've been short on second shift and it's always tough to fill. We've had issues there. And I actually don't have the luxury of rejecting this email. We have those machines. This might actually help us. And now whether they like it or not, you're in their head. Same person, same day, completely different outcome. Why? Because one made me think, one resonated with my problem, one offered a tangible solution that I could clearly use right now. The other made me react in frustration or possibly dark humor. So this is the part that everyone gets wrong. People think outreach is about getting attention, being interesting, saying the right thing, getting the combination of words just right, but it's not. It's about colliding with a problem the prospect already has. You're not trying to create interest. You are trying to intersect reality. And reality is messy and boring and not boring. It's not polished. It's not inspirational. It's not LinkedIn post worthy. It's just problems and actual solutions. But actual solutions are not that easy to come by. They often take grit. It sounds like this. We lost someone. This role is killing us. We can't find anyone decent. I'm doing 2 jobs right now. If I don't fill this, I'm going to get fired. If your message doesn't connect to that, you lose. So here's why timing can make you look stupid, but it's not your fault. This is the part that messes with people the most. You send an email, you get nothing. You follow up, you get nothing, and you think they're not interested. Then a week later, someone else sends a worse email and gets a reply. And you're like, what the hell is going on? Here's what actually happened. When you emailed, nothing was broken yet. When they emailed, something broke. That's really it. Same message, different moment, different result. So people think outreach is random, but it's not random. It's timing. And this is where people spiral. They think my messaging sucks. Maybe I need a new niche. Maybe outreach is dead. Meanwhile, nothing was wrong. You were just early and then you quit. So the reason why follow-ups actually work is not for the reason that people think. It's not because you're reminding them. It's because the situation changed. You follow up and now someone quit, workload spiked, something slipped, a war broke out, something tanked, a new project was approved. Now your message hits differently. That's why one follow-up can outperform everything, not because it's better, but because it landed at the right moment. Here's why most people still fail anyway. Even after understanding all of this, many people still don't win. And here's why. Number 1, they don't understand the pain of their niche. No pain, no replies. You can send perfect messages all day. If there's no pain, nothing happens. Number 2, they pick the wrong roles. If the role is easy to fill, there's no urgency. No urgency means no response. Number 3, they still sound like recruiters. And this one is brutal. If your message feels like a pitch or a service or a recruiter or another sausage at the sausage party, you're done. Even if it's good, even if it's better, you still sound like noise. And number 4, they stop too early. This is the silent killer. Most people send one email, maybe one follow-up, then they stop. Meanwhile, the moment happens after they stop, and they miss it. We don't stop. No doesn't mean no. It means not right now. And if it's a good prospect, it's not their decision. It's my decision. I've already decided we're going to work together. The only question is when the timing lines up. So here's the real game. Here's what's actually going on. You're not trying to convince people. You're not trying to sell people. You're not trying to get meetings. You're trying to be present with the fix when something breaks. That's the whole game. Not persuasion, not cleverness, not volume alone, presence. And you might be thinking, well, there are more reasons to hire than just when something breaks. It could be growth. And yeah, technically that's true. But just because growth is a reason to hire doesn't mean it's a reason to choose a new vendor. The motivation to try out a new vendor has to come from a much stronger force. And that force is pain. And that's why we have to stop thinking like recruiters when we're doing business development in recruiting. And we need to think like doctors. Doctors don't pitch medicine. Doctors don't pitch self-help or personal growth. They diagnose pain and prescribe solutions. So if your outreach isn't working, it's not because outreach doesn't work. It's not because there's something wrong with the economy. Those are just excuses. There are people making ridiculous money in every economy. Always. It's because you're asking the market to care before anything in their world actually motivates them to care. It has zero leverage, zero force, and zero reason to exist. The recruiters who win this game don't sound better. They don't write better. They don't sell better. They're not masters of charm. They're not smooth talkers. They're not valedictorians from your high school. They're not presidential candidates waiting in the wings. They're just regular people who learned how to spot pain and show up with the solution. They just understand when and how the market actually responds. And once you get that, outreach stops feeling like a grind and starts feeling like leverage. It becomes fun. It becomes easy. It becomes rewarding because now you're actually helping. And funny enough, that's when you finally get paid.